This Steve Dangle podcast clip. Well, I just want to give a little shout out to Betway before we get into it. It's one of the most trusted voices in sports betting in both Canada and around the world.
Where's
round? It's around. It's big and it's around.
Unless it's actually square.
And also flat.
Good question. I mean, listen, I'm not going to dispute that right now. But
Why not?
Flash.
Get into it.
Is that not what Betway's about?
I don't think we need. Maybe we could bet on it. I don't know.
Is the Earth flat? I'm giving you minus 450 odds.
I bet it's round.
Betway is the sports betting app that puts you, the customer, at the forefront. It's simple. It's fun. It's safe to bet with Betway. With a large selection of betting options and sports, as well as strong promotions and fair odds, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Betway and bet your way. You got to be 19 years or older to play. And please, as always, play responsibly. Let's talk about King Erik, baby. Woo! King Erik. Erik Källgren, second win. The shutout streak lasts almost through the second period.
How many shots?
A lot. I think he saved a lot.
69.
Is that how many?
Elliot Friedman said nice.
Did he say nice?
On the
That's
broadcast.
great. I missed that part because sometimes during intermission, I'm like, I got to get up and walk around and do stuff. I'm going to fold some laundry. I want to.
I have it on. I just see Frege and I go, mute. No.
Yeah, what a bomb that guy is, huh? So first off, the temperature this week versus last week, even versus Sunday, is so unbelievably different when it comes to the Leafs and the trade deadline and goaltending.
I thought you meant outside.
It is. That is different too.
Yesterday. Yes.
Let's talk about this. The effect that Källgren's had. First, I think the thing that gives people a little bit of comfort, more than the fact that he's played really well in 2 games, because he's only played 2 games, is that he's in his mid-20s.
Yeah. I remember hearing from someone when the Leafs signed him, they're like, oh, it's a good pickup, but like he's at least a year away from being NHL usable. But that's what happens with goalies, is sometimes they overripen in the wrong situation, and other times, hey,
you throw him in and it works.
You're in. Like you could, listen, Vegas is missing like a football team's worth of players right now, but the team they ice on a night in and night out basis, resembles an NHL team.
Yes.
With goaltending, most teams at any moment are 2 injuries away from being unrecognizable. You know what I mean? Vegas, your starter is Marc-Andre Fleury. A few guys get hurt, you have a high school student in net. That literally happened. The Hurricanes had a tandem of Reimer and Mrazek, and they were, little did they know, 25 minutes away from having a 42-year-old with wonky knees in net, and he won! It worked! Goaltending is the most chaotic position, bar none.
It's crazy. Now, I have to say, and everybody was in Leafs Nation Twitter was saying it last night, it was so great to see, it was so great to watch a game and not worry about the puck going in for no reason.
Well, at one end.
Well, we'll get to that. We are going to talk about
Freddie,
that. That was
Freddie looked vintage.
That was vintage big game Fred right there. And Carolina, I hope you're ready for the playoffs. Now, let's talk about Källgren for just a little bit longer here.
Yeah.
I do want to get on this. The comfort it gives us to have good goaltending again. Everything else looks better. You didn't even notice Austin Matthews wasn't there.
Well, because everyone was so laser focused on Källgren, and so was I for moments didn't realize what was happening between the Leafs and Hurricanes. Because it's a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. Mm-hmm. In most games, the Leafs are the cat. And sometimes the mouse gets away. Last night, they had to play the role of mouse. They're going up against a team that is at least as good as them, except without their Hart Trophy candidate and their 3rd/5th stringer in net. Coming into the season, what was Källgren on the depth chart? It wasn't 3rd.
Had to be number 5.
Yeah, it wasn't 3rd. It was at least 4, maybe 5.
It would have been Campbell, Mrazek,
Hutchinson,
Hutch,
Yep.
Woll, Källgren.
I think that's fair.
That's 5.
I think that's fair. So, and from the moment the puck was dropped, the Leafs were clearly outclassed.
Without question. I mean, what is it? 12 shots before they got one shot?
Yeah, and they had to completely change their style. And I was so impressed with it's almost a skill to be clearly the worst team.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but they were clearly not as good as the Hurricanes, and they played the role fantastically.
Mm-hmm.
There are some nights where you're outclassed by your opponent and you look like shit. There are other games where the opponent goes, all right, there's certain things we're just not going to be able to do tonight. Let's do 2 or 3 things really, really well.
Can I change this to a more complimentary way of talking about the Leafs last night?
Okay, I'm trying to compliment them.
They had a tremendous defensive effort last night.
Yes,
is what you're trying to say.
Well, I was gonna get there, man.
They weren't the shitty team. I thought they played really well defensively, and sometimes playing defensively is sitting back and letting the other team kind of control play. But then you take the puck and you do what you want with it. And they took advantage of their chances every time they got a chance, and the squeaky goals squeaked in, which is beautiful, and that's what you need when you're playing a tight defensive game. And they look like a team like last year's Islanders during the playoffs, who sit back and take their opportunities. Because if you look at the shot, discrepancy, it wasn't like it was all Hurricanes, but like the shots on Källgren, he had to make like handful of really good saves,
2 or 3.
A lot of them were just easy saves, which is a credit to your defense, and
it's also a credit to him being in position,
and a credit to us having a goalie who knows where his posts are, which is something we haven't seen in a long time.
It's amazing. I again go back to the Shesterkin game against the Leafs earlier in the season, because it was such a debate. Like, did he have a good game, or were the Leafs just not giving him any challenge?
Right.
Well, it's amazing how easy all the saves look when you're in position.
Right. And like it goes to a credit to, I thought Lyubushkin played nice.
Yeah.
Kasha was really good.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner was the best player on either team. He's unbelievable in every respect. He is peaking. He is fabulous. I love everything out of Mitch
never
Marner.
played better hockey.
I also want to say that I loved that when he talked about his goal at the end of the game, he said, Freddie knows I'm a pass first guy, so I shot.
Yes.
And so does Mikheyev, man. Okay, so let's talk about the Freddie goaltending. That Mikheyev goal is vintage what happens to Freddie when he's not sharp. How did that goal go in? I guarantee go back and watch this. Before Mikheyev even crosses the goalie red line, like at the, Freddie is off the post and moving to the other side of the ice.
Because Kampf is open.
Yeah. He's cheating. Like, he's trying to cheat the play.
You see the face you're making? This, Carolina fans, we had this conversation on a game-by-game basis with Freddie. Because there were always instances where the Leafs sort of let him down. Mm-hmm. But if I could talk about Freddie the way I talked about Källgren yesterday, here's what the Leafs need, right? And I promise this will link back to Freddie. They don't need November Jack Campbell. That's unreasonable to expect from anybody. Like, okay, all we need is the best goalie in the league.
The Leafs don't need that.
Yeah, it's all we need is the best goalie in the league. It's unreasonable to expect that. Here's what you need out of a goaltender. To not let in any shitty goals, number one. And number two, give you 1 or 2 saves you don't deserve. Mm-hmm. Freddie didn't give Carolina that yesterday.
No, he didn't. And he gave them a couple goals that shouldn't have gone in.
Even if you argue, they maybe should have, he didn't give them the 1 or 2 they didn't deserve. All 3 were 2-on-1s.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
2-on-1s, as you texted me last night, seemed to be somewhat automatic with him.
Dude, it was a thing with the Leafs. I was like, okay, they allow a ton of 2-on-1s. They don't so much anymore, but they used to allow a ton of 2-on-1s. And I was like, oh, I hate how they play 2-on-1s. And then they improved how they played 2-on-1s. And they still almost always went in.